Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, November 5th. I had to look at the date. This is Lori Bradley. I'm here in St. Louis, Missouri, and we're not doing 31 projects in 31 days, but we are working on, I'm changing my format a little bit. I'm not going to do regular lunch with Lori anymore. Although normally on Wednesday, I will still do the lunch time, like 1:30 time probably. Because every other week I have an appointment that would interfere. So 1:30 usually on Wednesdays, but today we're here at 4 and we are working through the Brushed with Beauty suite. It's brand new online exclusive, just released yesterday. There are 2 bundles. There is pearls, beautiful pearls, pearls of beauty. That's what they're called. And then there's no stamps, or there's no stamp set. There's 2 stamp sets. There's no ribbon, but there's an embossing folder. And if you've been stamping for a while, you know that vellum paper went away and it's back. And now it's not just 8.5 by 11. It's actually 12 by 12. I'm not using that today. It is actually on my card for tomorrow. I've already got that one designed. Tomorrow we're going to mix it up a little bit and make this suite a little less feminine. So lots of flowers, lots of pretty things, lots of soft, neutrally almost kind of colors that are they're very pretty, and I'm actually enjoying working with them a lot. So I'll show you yesterday's card real quick, and then I will work on today's card. Hello, ladies, Sheila, Monica. We'll work on those cards, and then as I announced yesterday, I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and it'll be like a class at the end of the week. If you spend $50 in my online store, or you'll get the card kits. So the 3 projects plus the fun fold that I do this week. If you spend $75, then you'll get a package of these beautiful pearls as well. So play that order by Sunday night at 9 p.m. and then those will ship out next week. So let's get going. All right, it's a beautiful day today, and it's hard to be inside, right? It's kind of hard to be inside. This is a crazy week at my house. I have an all-day event on Saturday. We're having a party at our house on Sunday. That probably wasn't my best plan, but here we are. So, and then my lives, and then next week I will not be live in the traditional sense to show you projects. I'm leaving Monday morning to go to Las Vegas for the Stampin' Up Backstage Convention Monday to Thursday. So next week it might be a quick in and out live just to kind of show you what's going on in the Stampin' Up world there. So this is yesterday's card. We used the pretty Petal Pink and Mossy Meadow along with the Designer Series paper. And then today we are going to use a different piece of the Designer Series paper. And when I used this yesterday, I was like, oh my goodness, this is very vanilla. And these pearls are actually white. I thought, oh, I'm in trouble. But I am using the white pearls today. So, thank goodness. All right, so I'm going to start with a piece of thick white cardstock, just 4 1/4 by 11. I do like to score white cardstock, the thick white in the middle. It just doesn't fold as nicely as some of the other colors. So I like to go ahead and give that a score. And if you didn't know, when you have your score line and you've got the score down like that, there's always the debate about whether do you fold it like this or do you fold it like that? Like, do you want it with the mountain up or the valley? Well, we're going to call this the ditch, okay, because the ditch goes down. Don't fall in the ditch, okay? So you don't want to fall in the ditch. You actually want to go this way. Is that right? The ditch is on the inside. We're going to go like that. Oh my goodness, I had a moment. All right, so we've got our white card base. I'm going to set that aside. We're not going to use that right away. One of the pieces in the suite is the pattern of beauty. Oh my goodness, what's it called? It's called, hold on, I'm going to tell you the exact name so I don't, beautiful pattern. I knew it was something beautiful pattern. And this is what the pattern looks like. It's almost like a stitching, and it's in diamond shapes, and then there's little stitches in the middle. It looks like a cross stitch. Very pretty. And this is Darling Duckling, and that's one of the pieces of paper, but I'm just going to go ahead and glue this onto my card base. And this adhesive is empty, so we'll just move on to the next one. I plan to have a great time, Sheila. My friend Sarah is going with me. There's a couple of other ladies from the St. Louis area who are coming. And then I'm meeting my friend Amy from Michigan. And we are going to have a great time. That's our plan anyway. All right. This is what I called the forsythia yesterday. I don't really know if it is, but we're going to call it that. And so I have a square of the paper, but we're going to cut it. We're going to use our paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces. And I'm going to cut it, so it's 3.5 by 3.5. It's a square, so it doesn't really matter if you want your strips to go vertically or horizontally. Actually, I guess I'll show you. My sample, I cut the strips vertically, but I almost wonder if I should do one horizontally but then, no, I'm going to do it this way because I want that to be opposite of my stripes. So never mind. See, sometimes I got to think on my own. After I talk it through out loud, it doesn't sound nearly as good as it did before. All right, so I'm going to cut 4 strips. I'm going to make 3 cuts. I'm going to cut 1 at a 1/2 inch. That's our first one. And I'm going to start at the left side and work my way across. So I've got a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to bump it up and we're going to cut a 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to do 1 inch. And that should leave us with a 1 1/4 inch piece at the end, as long as that works out. All right, so keep your pieces in order, and they're going to go small to large, left to right. And I also have a piece of early espresso, and it is 3 inches by 4 1/4. So it's in a 1/2 sheet of paper, and then you can get 6 per sheet. All right, now I'm going to lay it down just like this, just so I can see. I'm going to do it so that, and it just works out this way. So I get them lined up. I'm going to just put the top and the bottom along those dotted lines so that will help with our placement. Hey, Sandy, thanks for joining us. I never know what time is a good time. Tomorrow I have to do some switching around, so I think I said 4 o'clock tomorrow. I might actually be able to do evening. Is evening a better time? Let me know what you think. Is evening better to be able to watch a live? Or is daytime better? Because I know some people have families, they have things going on. So let me know what your preference is. Morning, afternoon, evening. I can't do all of them at the same time probably every day just because. All right, now that I have that placed, I can do my next one, and I'm just going to go ahead and place it next to it with about the same spacing between the two as I did on the end. Okay, now if I place it according to this piece, then they should all be straight with the same off the brown as the same depth. All right, so I'm going to do, when you put your glue on the back of your strips, don't put it all the way to the end, because otherwise you're going to have glue out here and you don't really want that. Okay, so we'll go with the next one. All right, no preference, says Sandy. You retired girls have a little more flexibility. All right, and we'll put our last piece on. Now the beauty of this is that if the end on here, if the margin at the end is a little bigger than this side, then we'll just trim it off. It's not a big deal. I tried to do this flat and I just can't do it. This guy's a little bit short, I think. All right, maybe no one will notice. All right, so we've got our 4 strips glued down. Now I'm gonna look at this and I can see that my right side is a little bit bigger. So I'm just gonna cut about 1/8 of an inch. I'm just gonna trim that off so that I could still go a little bit more, I think. As long as you go from one side and make the other end even, that's totally fine. And that's how I did my sample too. I was like, ooh. But it's okay. It's okay. All right, so we've got our 4 pieces on here, and if you're not happy with it, you know, if they're not exactly lined up, throw them on your trimmer. You can easily fix that. We're gonna put this onto our card front with dimensionals, just our little panel here. I had to reorder dimensionals this week. My friend Sarah and I have an event on Saturday, and I had to place a quick ship order. And I was like, what else do I need? And I need dimensionals. How can that be? Last week it was seal refills. This week it's dimensionals. All right, so we're going to put that. We're going to center that on our card. Like that. At first I wasn't sure I was going to like the Darling Duckling, but I actually think I do. All right, the dies. The dies in the... Words of Beauty dies. There's a long, it's not a hexagon. Well, I guess it is. No, it's an octagon, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's an octagon, but it's not a stop sign because it's not the right shape. But there are 3 of those that die cut the words that go with the stamp set. I don't have the stamp set's right next to me. So, like You've Been on My Mind that we used last night would fit in this one. And Just or Kind or Sweet would fit in the smaller one. So you can play with those and see what fits. But I'm going to use the long one. And tonight I'm going to use I Appreciate You. Or today. I guess it's still daytime where I am. All right. I'm going to stamp that in the middle. I got to get it closer to me so I can see. There we go. So that's in the Early Espresso ink. Now, that's also going to get popped up on dimensionals. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, I want to do it so that it's still on all of this, because if I do it over here, it would be 2 dimensionals high, and I don't want to have to mess with that. So that's what I'm going to keep on. Kind of keep my dimensionals in the center a little bit more. There we go. Just so it's not off that side. All right. And right about there. Now you're thinking, oh, that's kind of boring, right? So I'm pulling out, I'm not using Old Olive at all this week. You should all be surprised. I'm going to use the Early Espresso linen thread from the linen thread pack. It is still current, so I am using it. And we're just going to put a little bow right here on the corner. Dress it up just a little bit. All right, have you checked out the online exclusives, the new ones that were released yesterday? If so, what's your favorite? Because next week I probably am not. I'll show maybe swaps next week. What's your favorite thing that you've seen? I love this suite. And there's another bundle, and it's called Friendly Foliage. And it is, it has a really cool cutout with leaves. And I am excited to use that. And I think it'll be a good spring thing. All right, normally I lay my ribbon down onto the glue dot, but since this is a small, kind of narrow bow, I'm gonna just roll up the glue dot, and I'm gonna lay that right on there. There we go. And now we can use the gems. And this time I can use the white. I'm bound and determined to use all the colors. I really like these. They're very shiny. You can see. All right, so I'm going to use white ones this time. I'm going to put one of the small ones here on the end of my sentiment piece. Put it right there. And then I'll add another couple random ones. There we go. All right. And since I turned this sideways, it's a side open card instead of an up and down like that. All right. But if you decided to do it vertically, you would just need to switch your square of designer series paper. It's 3.5 by 3.5. And then this piece would just be on this biggest piece at the bottom. Okay. So there you have it. Today's card with the Brushed with Beauty suite. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you a outside the box piece. We're gonna make a card that is different than the flowers. There's not even gonna be one flower on tomorrow's project, so I'm kind of excited about that. And then Friday will be Fun Fold Friday. I will use this suite, but that one will just be posted on YouTube. So you can see that Friday at some point on YouTube. So thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your night, and I hope to see you all tomorrow.